Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines, Dakota Falls. In the last episode, we expanded the Rock Springs suburbs, building some new mountainside homes using these amazing home assets from asset creator Smiley's on the workshop. We also shrunk down the farmers market and introduced a brand new city park to downtown. And we also created the Flats Mall and Plaza shopping area. I introduced some new Rock Springs transit buses created by asset creator Blue Thunder, and today it's time to build out the bus network. We'll also be introducing commuter rail to the city today, which will help connect the Sims to our brand new town that we're creating, Elk Basin. First, to kick off the episode, we'll be building out Rock Springs train station, nestled into the hillside of Rock Springs, right next to the Flats Mall and Plaza. So stick around because we've got a lot in store with today's episode with these new transit options and this really exciting new town that I can't wait to show off today. Kick off the build for Rock Springs train station, I'm just starting out with some terraforming here to try to get a nice flat area to place the station on the side of this hill. This will eventually help connect Sims to the new towns that we create in this build, including Elk Basin, which has a featured guest build today from Andrew on our Discord, so definitely stick around to check that out. But getting back to the train station, I decided to go with the Point of Rock station by Zarix because one, it's just an amazing looking train station asset, and two, I think it just goes really well with the whole rock theme going along with Rock Springs. I wanted this to kind of be built onto the hillside here, so I'm using a lot of stair networks, and then I'm going to use some pedestrian paths and add some intersection marking tool stairs just to get Sims up and down from the station as well. Of course, in all the builds that I do, I try to keep accessibility in mind as well, so you'll see them building some ramps to go along with the stairs here too. In the last episode, I asked for your help in the comments to name one of the subdivisions of Rock Springs called Ivy Square, and I got a lot of really great responses in the comments. Thank you for all the feedback that you left. I think I'm going to be going with the name Diamond View, offered up by asset creator Slyn. I really like this name because the neighborhood is inspired by golden, and keeping with that theme of precious metals, or I guess I don't know if diamond's really a metal, but... And then it's also kind of in the shape of a diamond, this neighborhood, if you're looking at it facing north. So thank you for all the suggestions in the comments. Keep letting me know your thoughts, because there's been a lot of great feedback, and definitely looking forward to incorporating some of it into the series going forward. Now that we've got these awesome new buses from Blue Thunder, it's time to kick things off with the bus network in Rock Springs. And to start things off, I've decided that I want a few lines to terminate at this train station in Rock Springs. So I'm just setting up a very simple loop for buses to go around and pick up and drop off people at the top of the parking lot here, right above the station. This should help people that are riding the train into Rock Springs have an easy transfer into downtown. Feel free to pause the video here if you want to see the network, but I want to give a big thank you to Blue Thunder, who actually helped me to create this realistic bus network for the area. I plan on starting out with something very similar to this in order to help move people around the different neighborhoods, in and out of downtown Rock Springs, the various commercial areas, and then eventually Jackson University Rock Springs campus that I plan to build across the river in a later episode. With those initial 3 bus lines created, it's time to place down a bus depot and get some buses driving around the city. I'll probably come back and replace this vanilla bus depot with something more detailed later on, but I was really just excited to see these start driving around the city. Once again, I want to give a huge thank you to asset creator Blue Thunder of Ride Modding for his creative work on these Rock Springs transit buses. These line colorable mountain design buses are really a treat to look at on these GildedAges as they drive around the city. You can pick these up now at Blue Thunder's Patreon, which I highly recommend, and I've linked down below in the description. Now that we've built Rock Springs a train station, let's give these sims a place to go. It's time to expand the build and build a new town. For that, let's head into Google Earth because we're going to be taking some inspiration from a mountain town in Arizona known as Flagstaff. This town, situated in the San Francisco peaks of the Colorado Plateau, is going to heavily inspire this town. And this Amtrak station that splits up the town is going to make up a big part of that. This is also where you'll find the featured guest build of the episode today from our Discord member Andrew. Introducing Elk Basin. For this town, I really wanted to separate it from Rock Springs and make it something distinct, taking a lot of inspiration from Flagstaff and also some Chicagoland suburbs. This is going to be a working class, former industrial neighborhood and the last stop on the line before Rock Springs. For the Elk Basin train station, I'm taking heavy inspiration from the Amtrak station, Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm building just a very simple station using some brick platform networks and one of Mac Welshman's Tudor homes to stand in as the small station building. For the network in the overall region, I want to build a commuter rail network that is somewhat similar to what you would see for RTD in Denver, but also somewhat similar to what you'd see with Metra in Chicago and other various commuter rail networks in America. I plan on using some custom train assets later on, either the electric Silverliner 4s, which are somewhat similar to the trains that you would find in Denver, or possibly taking a bit of a different direction and going with the diesel PL42 AC multi-level trains that you would find in New Jersey. So let me know what you would think would be your favorite for this build in the comments below. Up next, we've got the first guest build of the series, featuring a build from our very own Discord member, Andrew. He has built a small gay village, which I've decided would be a great addition to Elk Basin. Right now, I'm just cleaning up the Move It import a bit, as certain procedural objects were missing, which needed to be added back. But I tried to stay true to Andrew's vision for this neighborhood from the screenshots that they shared with me. In this specific area in Elk Basin, a comparatively high LGBTQ population sprang up, providing community to one another, and the businesses in town changed to reflect that a bit. We have a few trendy shops and cafes to go along with some clubs lining the end of this main street in town. You can still see the different elements of the working class neighborhood and its industrial roots shine through, and I really have to hand it to our guest builder for this wonderful and detailed main street build. If you want a chance to have a featured guest build, come join us over on the Discord. We occasionally host events and competitions in city skylines with fun prizes, and you may even win a chance to build something in Dakota Falls. The link to join the Discord can be found in the description below. tie this whole town together and put a cap on the end of this main street, I've decided to use this asset here to stand in as the new City Hall building for Elk Basin. I'll also be building a new small park next door and a nice little sculpture area to make this area feel a little bit more significant and more like a government building. With a new City Hall built, it's time to detail Elk Basin. I'm going to be adding a little bit of detail to the back alleyways of these main street buildings and also detailing this main street with intersection marking tool to give it a protected bike lane here. Heading over to the other side of Elk Basin now, we're starting one of two subdivisions that I'm building. This is going to be known as Magnolia Hills, thanks to a suggestion that I got in the comments of the last video that I put out. Up next, we're going to be building a typical HOA community, or at least it was until Catherine Beagle decided to move in. When I was initially planning on building this neighborhood, I was just planning on building a typical gated HOA community because I've never had a chance to build one before. But I thought the opportunity to write in some sort of character into it and make a story out of this development was too good not to take advantage of. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to Catherine Beagle and her husband, the corrupt mayor of Elk Basin, William "Billy" Beagle. Catherine Beagle never imagined herself as the villain of the neighborhood, but soon after she and her husband, the corrupt mayor William "Billy" Beagle, moved into the Camden Club gated community, things took a turn. As a new member of the HOA committee, Catherine quickly grew frustrated with what she saw as a disorganization and chaos of Camden Club's aesthetic. It wasn't just the unruly lawns or the mismatched mailboxes, it was the lack of cohesion, the absence of order. Within weeks, Catherine had become the de facto leader of the HOA. With a combination of charm and subtle authority, she seized control and began enforcing a strict new set of rules. It started out with small things: no more bright colors for front doors, no more whimsical garden gnomes. But soon, it became very clear that Catherine was remaking Camden Club into her vision of suburban perfection. The most controversial mandate was the uniformity of the mailboxes. Catherine insisted that every resident must replace their old mailboxes with baby blue ones, a color she deemed both charming and neutral. Then came the color schemes. No more bold reds or pastel yellows or purple homes. All homes were to be painted in neutral tones: beige, soft gray, or ivory, anything that could be considered inoffensive. As the HOA's head enforcer, Catherine had no tolerance for deviation. Violators were fined, and in some cases their homes were temporarily covered in unsightly violation signs until they complied. The once vibrant and varied neighborhood soon felt like a monochromatic ghost town, stripped of any character. The changes were too much for many longtime residents. The streets that were once filled with families and children and eclectic personalities now were empty. One by one, families packed up and left, unable to live in a place that no longer felt like home to them. Catherine, though, remained unbothered. In her mind, she was creating a place of order, of peace. The community, she believed, would be better off for it. But as the last few holdouts moved out, Catherine couldn't help but wonder, had she truly improved Camden Club, or was she simply the one that crushed what made it special? as always, I want to give a big thank you to my supporters on Patreon for helping to make all of this possible and allowing me to sit down here and create cities in my spare time for you all. And if you made it this far into the video, I want to give you a big thank you as well. You watching to the end of the video and your viewership really helps me more than anything else as a YouTube creator, so stay tuned for more City Skylines, Dakota Falls.